This is so cool. Okay, I'm going to start recording now. Is that okay? Can I hear you?
I think so.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, great. So Tracy, thank you so much for joining us today on Hack the Learning Disability, also known as Learning Disability Solutions. And
Okay.
I'm so excited to have you here on our show. So I know everyone's time is valuable, so if you could be so kind to tell us a little bit about yourself, that would be great. We'll get this show rolling.
Okay. My name is Tracy LaHue, and I live in Florida. I have 5 children, 4 girls and 1 son. And my oldest one has just finished college, and my youngest one is going into middle school. And we have lots of noise and chaos in our house.
I love
The only
it.
quiet place I could get was in my son's room. And so there's Nerf stuff on the walls, but it's okay.
Exactly. Fantastic.
Yeah. And we have different, issues and journeys in our house. One of which is that we have a daughter who has Down syndrome. So that changed a whole lot of stuff in our home.
Wow.
So,
yeah, that's so great. Well, yay. Well, thank you so much. I know we all have kids that are at all different levels. And so I'm just so excited that you're here and willing to share your information with us today. So let's just start off with, what's the one thing that you do that's been the biggest contributor to your child's success?
Well, for one, prayer. No doubt about it. Lots of praying. Lots of Christian friends who have supported and encouraged us along the way. So I can't discount any of that. Also, we've done multiple different things. Of course, we did all the first steps with her. We did the extended therapies with her. We did, we're still in speech therapy. She's 19. So we've done a lot of different things. Most recently, one of the biggest things that has helped us tremendously, and it's called Gemini. Gemini.
Great.
And I think it's .org. I should know, but I think it's Gemini.org or it's .com. Anyway, it's an online speech program.
Oh, wow.
I wish we would have known about it years and years ago. Madison's speech has improved tremendously using Gemini. It's a monthly subscription, and it was designed by a mom. Go figure. Right. And they offer scholarships to people because it's a little bit pricey. So there are scholarships available to families that need them. It's an awesome program. So that's a huge one that I wish I would have known about years ago. Wow. On top of that, we've done, all the traditional things. We've also included brain training and primitive reflexes. And that has made a huge, huge difference for Madison as well as my other children. So those are really big, but Gemini's huge for speech and articulation issues, auditory processing. You can start it with your child when they're little, like before they would normally be speaking, and they're just watching the video. It's excellent. It is excellent.
Wow, fantastic. Yeah. We'll have to go check it out. Gosh, that sounds great. Yeah. I love it, because that's one thing that's really challenging when you're a mom and you're working and you have kids. It's just like how to find out. I feel like a lot of stuff that's out there is all about what are the challenges, but there's not a lot of solutions. So I'm so thankful that you're
This is a solution. This is a solution.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you kind of want to talk about this, but can you tell us a little bit about, one of your kids, whoever you want to focus on, and maybe their top 2 challenges?
Okay. Well, one of my kids. I have 5 of them.
I know. Yeah. Well,
we have a lot of different
others. It's all good.
Yeah. We have a lot of different challenges in our home. Actually, I have one daughter who, she past tense was dyslexic,
Wow.
And she had a lot of issues, obviously, with dyslexia and reading and that kind of thing.
Mhm.
We'd often joke and say, well, there's her world and then the rest of the world maybe we'll bump into you sometime. But we started this journey with brain training
Mhm.
and doing primitive reflexes. And one of the reflexes in particular, the lizard,
Mhm.
addresses people with dyslexic tendencies.
Oh, wow.
And so after she started doing them,
Mhm.
she asked me, Mom, can dyslexia go away? I said, oh, no, it doesn't go away.
Mhm.
And she said, I think it has. And
Wow.
she really has excelled.
Mhm.
Um, she started college at 15 years old.
Oh my gosh.
So, I mean, I'm saying at fifth grade, she was barely reading.
Wow.
And so I know that that's huge with the primitive reflexes. I have
Mhm.
another daughter that has auditory processing issues, and we use, it's called sound therapy with her,
Hmm.
and paired with the primitive reflexes and brain training activities. And it's changed her world for her too. She still has some issues, but this is a marathon and not a sprint, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so she's doing great too. You know, she's really doing great and has excelled in her schoolwork this year. And you know, I'm so happy for her, you know, because with
Yeah.
auditory processing stuff, it's in there, you just can't get it out.
Wow.
And
Wow. And
so
how
it's,
did you figure out like your kids had those challenges? Did you just kind of, how did that happen?
well, we have homeschooled our children.
Okay.
And but we also took them and had evaluations and that kind of thing done because something was just off.
Oh, wow.
And then our second daughter, our
Mhm.
19-year-old, she has Down syndrome. So there's a lot of issues that surround that.
Mhm.
Her biggest issue really is speech. And you know, so you know, we've used all kinds of speech programs, all
Mhm.
kinds of different speech therapists and that, but really I'm saying Gemini is awesome for any
Wow.
kind of, I should be a spokesperson for them, but really they just, I just wish that so many people could get their hands on it. But
Yeah.
with Madison, we also have used a lot of brain training activities and primitive reflexes, and when we did that, it changed so much for her. It increased her processing speed and her working memory. And actually, she had never used prepositions. And just within a couple of weeks of starting different brain training activities, she started using prepositions. And we weren't working on
Wow.
language skills, you know,
Uh-huh.
during activities, but she just started using them. And she also was not she would run at Easter to get the candy
Mhm.
and at Halloween. And she didn't
Wow.
run, and all, or she was sneaking stuff. She would run. And we started doing these primitive reflexes with her.
Mhm.
And within a week, she was running. We had a 3-story house, and she was running years. And I'm like, what are
Wow.
you doing? Let me see in your pockets. You're hiding stuff, you know? And she's like, no, I'm a good runner. I'm a good runner. And, you know,
Wow.
it changed, you know, changed her in that she was getting those connections that needed to be made. And so
Right.
she became, you know, anyway, so those are some of the things that we've used that we really feel very strongly about that have definitely helped our family.
That's so great.
Yeah.
I love it. I know my son's been doing a little bit of the brain training thing and I just can't believe like the impact that it's made. It's kind of hard because it's not like black and white. It's like all of a sudden there's a shift. And then I was like, am I really noticing this? And so I kind of asked my other family members because I didn't want to like, taint the experiment or what I was seeing. And they kind of felt the same thing. So
It
it's,
it is a strange thing because you do all of a sudden they're able to do, at least in our experience,
uh
able to do multi-step um task,
Mm-hmm.
or not, like when you're talking to them and other people are talking, they're like, oh, there's too much going on here, I can't pay attention,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and so they're, that changed for them, and just being
Wow.
able to do multi-step, I hate to say commands, but multi-step commands,
Uh-huh.
um,
Uh-huh.
you changed a lot.
I love it. That's so cool. And so I can't wait to learn more about all of those different things, but just a little bit more about, so how did you first realize that your kids learn differently? I mean, maybe for some of them it was more obvious, but so you got the assessments and then you kind of, from there you realized, like, how did you research all these things? What should parents do if they're not sure? What's the first step? What's like because I was in denial for a while. So I think anything we can do to help others to.
I think that, yeah.
It was a teacher's, it was Common Core, it was something else.
It's always somebody else. It's something else. But the thing of it is, since I was homeschooling, it
Oh,
couldn't
right.
possibly
Yeah.
be me.
Right. No fair.
We had our oldest daughter is very academically blessed,
Mm-hmm.
and she did not have struggles at
Mm-hmm.
all.
Mm-hmm.
And seriously, at 4 years old, she could read like Shakespeare type things.
Wow.
And I mean, she could read. I think she was born reading, really. And of course, we knew we were going to have struggles with our second one, who had Down syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
And then when our third one came and she started having struggles, I thought, oh, well, it's just because she's following my other child,
Oh, okay.
it has challenges. So she's just following her. She's just,
Mm-hmm.
and finally it hit on, I'm like, no, she has her own challenges. And, and if you just keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, thinking you're going to get a different result. And
Right.
that's just that's not logical.
It isn't.
And so we just had to start doing something different, because you can only buy, homeschooling, you can only buy so many different phonics programs. You can only buy so many different online tutors. You can only buy so many different, avenues to tap into them, until you're like, you know what, there really is something here and we need to do something radically different. And
wow. Well, that's awesome. Because that's kind of what I was thinking. Because I was a teacher, and everything that had worked on all the other kids, and my other two kids are same thing, pretty super bright. And, and I'm just like, it's the normal path is not working. And that's what's so frustrating to think about a lot of the solutions out there is they'll just, like for reading comprehension, just go ahead and make sure they're, you do all the pre-reading and just all the strategies that I was already doing, but it wasn't clicking,
No. And I mean, it's the same thing like in a family or in a marriage, right? If you get into this negative loop and you are arguing like this all the time, somebody has to put a different spin on that volley, right?
Yeah.
To get a different result. And I mean, I can say hooked on phonics, I can say, well, I don't even know. I can't even remember all the phonics programs we use, and but there's still a phonics program.
Right.
You're still doing phonics, or you're still doing sight words, or you're still doing the dyslexic reading programs, or you're doing, the color codes, or you're doing, all of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, we need to do something completely different.
Wow.
Completely different.
Yeah. Well, that's encouraging, because like the other moms and I, we kind of laugh at ourselves at all the different things that we have spent money on. So I'm glad to know that it's like part of the journey.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
So it makes me feel better,
It's a black hole. It's a black hole, because this is your child.
Right.
And you just want them to succeed.
Yeah.
Whatever that's going to look like.
Right. Right. And you feel like the longer you wait, it's just the trajectory is just changing, so the sooner you can do something.
It is. But this is the thing that is amazing about neuroplasticity of the brain, is that it's never too late. It is never too late. You know what I mean?
Awesome.
You can always tap in there and change it. You can change it.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's explosive and it's amazing. I mean, when I started this brain training program, I just feel like now Alec may be able to go out on his own. He may not have to live with us forever. It's like that much of a big impact on what he can do now.
Well, and the thing of it is, when you start seeing the differences in your child, then it's very essential that everybody in the family changes along with them. Right?
I mean,
because
yeah, that's kind of my next step is, so, okay, it kind of worked for Alec, and now I want to explore it with the other two kids because I've heard it works on all levels. So that's kind of another part of my journey to help everybody, right? So that kind of brings us to the next question. So the journey of ups and downs can be challenging, you know, like what you were saying, the black hole, going one step forward, two steps back, or plateaus. So what do you do to keep persisting, or how do you manage that ebb and flow?
Well, right now I have dollars in envelopes. I have money in envelopes, and when you want this money, right? Because they do, right? So we're going to do our primitive reflexes, and we're going to do all of this stuff, and I am going to pay you for doing it. Thank you very much. So that's one of the things that we do, you know, that this is your work. This is your work.
Exactly. Yep.
And so I will pay you for your time. Thank you very much.
Do you, because I know one of the things they said is tell the kids why they're doing this brain training, or tell them why. But yet there's also the other side where you don't want to tell your kid where their gaps are. Why do you want to do that? You know? So yeah. So in terms of motivating them, do they ever say, well, why are we doing this, Mom, except for the money? Like, so how do you do that?
A few things, that we do is, my daughter, who is 19 with Down syndrome, when we had her, we really thought, well, maybe she won't know, you know, we didn't know, like, maybe she won't know that there's, this gap, you know, maybe she won't get it, but she is very well aware. She's
At what point does that happen?
I remember she was still sitting in a high chair. And she said, hard to talk. And it broke my heart. And I put on the face, and I said, you know what? Everybody has hard things. This is your hard thing. And then I went to my room and I cried for a while. But the other day, she came in to me and she said, I am done. And I said, well, what are you done with? Because she's about to graduate, you know? And I'm like, okay, so what are you done with? And she said, I am done with Down syndrome. I quit. I said, you can't quit this. You can't quit this. This is yours to carry, right? And so you're going to have to keep plugging away, and you're going to have to keep working, and you're going to have to keep, and then, you know, you're going to have to keep doing your brain training, and you're going to have to keep doing your Gemini, and you're going to have to keep doing this because it's helping you to do better. This is what you have to do. So, I guess it depends on the age of your kid. It depends on their cognitive ability and what you say to them.
Right.
You know? But no, we pretty much speak openly at our house.
Yeah.
And, you know, with
a lot of people do, and a lot of people recommend that. And so I didn't know if that was a better strategy. I guess we're still kind of dealing with that in terms of, you know.
It's hard. It's hard because you don't want them to feel like you put them in a box. But chances are, if you've noticed that they're a little different, they have too. You know?
I don't know. I feel like our son, that's his saving grace, is he's just in his own world and he could care less. Like,
and that's awesome.
Yeah, it is. That's his blessing. You know? He's just like, I'm doing my own thing and I'm good, and watch out, world.
He will have less diseases, less everything than anybody else. He's not going to feel the stress. So good for him.
Exactly. Yeah. So
one of the things that I say, because I work with clients who have different, you know, challenges. And one of the things that I will say to them, because obviously their parents have called me to come and work with them, and I don't discuss with them like I do my own children. That's not my place. It's not my place, you know. But I will say to them, you know what? You are an awesome kid. And these games and these activities are going to let everybody else see how awesome you are. Right? And maybe sometimes you have to work a little bit harder, right? Sometimes you may have to work a little bit harder, but maybe we can see if these will help you not to have to work so hard, so people can see how awesome you are. And that usually goes, you know.
That's beautiful.
But, you know, I mean, because all of us, like it or not, work with compensations. And at some point, our compensations quit working for us. And so, you know.
You got to keep plugging forward. I love it. That's great. So just a few more questions. Let me ask, have you tried anything that hasn't worked, Like the phonics, that was a great example. When did you realize it wasn't working, and what did you do? Like, what's our chip off that this is not working versus just keep going and it'll click later?
I put it in the trash. I'm done. I don't have enough time. I don't have time to sit here and waste on your program that doesn't work.
How long do you give it though?
Until we're all thoroughly frustrated. I don't have like a stopwatch. Okay, 10 minutes. And if you can't, then 10 minutes. I mean, we give it a fair shot, but, I guess it kind of also directly relates to how much time it's costing us and how much money it's costing us, honestly, because you only have so much time and so many resources. And if it's tapping you out and it's working, you're going to keep going. But if you're just, oh my goodness, this is just ridiculous. Done. We're done.
Wow.
I don't know.
I think I went too far then on some of my programs, because we did it to the point of pain and almost like blood on our knees. It was bad.
Oh, crying and tears. Oh yeah, we've done the crying and tears too. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's a tough call, because you don't know if it's going to take one more time. You don't know if it's going to take one more.
Because you're just hoping. You're hoping.
You are.
This is the silver bullet.
Yes.
This is the one. This is it.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly.
I don't think that there's a silver bullet that exists. I think it's a marathon. Let's keep trudging forward, and it is trudging, and
right. But there are things you're going to find that do work. And so I think parents out there, keep doing it until you see something that's making some results, maybe after a month or whatever the program might say, kind of hang in there. So, okay. So with all of your 5 kids and all the different things going on, where do you plan to go from here? What are your next steps?
Well, we're going to just keep going forward. We're just keep going forward, with my daughter with Down syndrome, she is graduating high school.
Wow.
And so she understands how this thing is supposed to work, because she watches her older sister and she watches her siblings and Disney Channel, and she knows, I graduate, I move on.
Wow.
And so, we're looking at several different programs for her. It's scary. Honestly, it's scary. What are you going to do? Because you want to make sure they're safe. You want to make sure that they're protected, but you also want to let them succeed and fail, right? Just like everybody else.
Yeah.
And get up, shake the dust off, and keep going. So, she has been involved in the Down Syndrome Association of Central Florida.
Oh,
and they have an entrepreneurs program, and
wow.
it's the first one in the nation.
Oh my gosh. That's
and
awesome.
She was in the first group of kids that have gone through it. And so she's actually launched her own business, and she will tell you she is a CEO, and she is. And, so, we're pursuing more options in that area.
That. I think that's awesome.
I believe that it's only 17% of people with, I hate the term disabilities, but
I do too.
I like challenges.
I know. I just called it that so that more people would be able to find it, but I didn't want to use that.
I know it.
Because I learn differently.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Seriously? I mean, all of us have some kind of disability, but
exactly. And we all learn differently. Yeah.
Anyway, 17% of people with the label of disabilities, end up employed. Only 17%. And at that, not even employed at a rate that they could provide for themselves.
Wow.
And so this entrepreneurs program that she's been involved in, their goal is that you will be able to have a self-sustaining income, and that you will be able to provide for yourself.
Amazing. That's so cool.
It really is. It really is awesome. And so, at 19 years old, she has started her own business. She's a CEO of her own business, and she's made profit.
That's,
that's
more than I've done. So good for her. Rocking it, man. I love it.
I know. At 19, kids are still living in mom's basement, so.
Exactly. Oh, I love that idea though. And like just new things out there and doing research and finding like best fits for your kids. So that's just so inspiring. All right. So our last question, Tracy, to wrap it up. what is the one thing that anyone who's listening must do if they have a child that learns differently? One thing.
Parent differently.
Ah,
Parent
like what?
differently.
So what does that mean?
Everything. Everything. I mean, all of a sudden you have been thrown into this world where everything is, you're in this world where we're all non-judgmental, but everybody's very judgmental. And you know that when you walk through the store and you have this child that looks different, you know, or acts different, or sounds different. And some people are really great and kind and gracious, but some people are not, and that's okay. But and they're probably not nice to other people either. But you just have to parent different, you know? I mean, you're not afforded the luxury of this child who is going to learn incidentally. You're not. Everything is going to have to be worked for. Everything is going to be a struggle. It is. And you're going to have to parent differently. And you're going to have to see the humor. Don't take yourself too seriously, you know?
Right.
My husband, one time he got a new job, and they're having this big, you know, hey, you know, meet him and his family. And my daughter, like 4 years old with Down syndrome. I mean, I have, you know, we're like this picture family. I have 3 little, you know, and she runs out into the middle and runs towards the stage, and she starts screaming, shake, shake, shake your booty, and starts to pull her pants down.
Okay.
Her booty. And we're like, oh my goodness, that's great. That's great. Things are going to happen, you know, and you can panic or you can just ride this wave and see where it's going to take you.
I love it. I love it. I think that's going to be the title of this episode, Ride This Wave. Well, Tracy, thank you so much. You've been an inspiration, and it's been so exciting to talk with you and all of your silver bullets. Even though you don't think they are for those of us searching for them. So if people want to reach out and find you to get more information on any of these great things that you brought up, where can they do that?
Well, I have an email address, and it is Lahue, Lahue, sound therapy @gmail.
Okay.
I also have a website, and it's LahueBrainConnections.com. And then I have a phone number. I don't know. Do I give out a phone number? I don't know.
However you want people to reach you. I'm happy to put it in the show notes and to get it out there, and they can rewind. So sure, if that's up to you.
Okay. It's online. Yeah. But my number is 859 707 0123.
0123. How'd you get those last 4 digits? That's awesome.
I love it.
I know. That's so great. All right. Well, thank you again. And again, everyone listening, thank you so much for being here today. If you have any silver bullets that you want to share, just like Tracy did, just like the others that have been on here, please feel free to send me an email, and we will get you signed up right away so we can share your stories with others, because together we are stronger. So thank you so much. Have a good one.
All right, thank you.
All righty. Take care. Bye-bye. Cheers.